Studio live from Los Angeles.
All right, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Game Wild, episode 26. So, it's a holiday weekend. We're recording on a Sunday, so we'll be coming out the next day. So, SJW, how was your 4th of July?
Pretty freaking awesome. And this is just, can I just throw out how dedicated we are that it's 4th of July weekend? And we are still here for our super awesome fans to make sure that we are releasing some grade A video game news and content for you guys. But yeah, July 4th was pretty cool. I went to a friend's house, and ironically, we kids don't do this at home. Do not try this at home. We did have some fireworks that may or may not have been supported by the state of Rhode Island, but I shit you not, we lit them off directly across the street from a fire station. And
Oh boy.
which one would argue is the safest spot to light them off.
Well, I guess.
Just saying. So, but
Well,
yeah, it was a good fireworks show.
no, there you go. And so I
What'd you
actually
do?
just worked on the house all day, cleaning up, doing stuff. I smoked some meats, obviously. I got a like from Alton Brown on my barbecue.
That was pretty
stuff,
cool.
So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. And then we just played with some sparklers at night. So that was about it. So
Just
it was
sparklers,
good.
just
Like,
no big
just
boy
sparklers.
fireworks.
No, we're not big boy fireworks people.
Oh, actually,
my
speaking
home.
of sparklers, we gave the girls the sparklers. So the girls were kind of off to the side of the sparklers, and all the guys, lit off the fireworks. And the freaking girls, they kept grabbing. There was incense mixed in with the sparklers. So they were lighting the sparkler, and they're like, "Why does this just smell good, but there's no sparkler?" We're like,
Why does this smell like lavender and lime?
Yeah. Like, that's not a firework.
Nope.
Oh man, but yeah, it's a good weekend. Hopefully, all of our listeners had a awesome 4th of July as well.
Yes. And so with that being said, we'd also like you to support the podcast by giving us a 5-star review and giving us any likes, subscribes that you can on any of the social media outlets we're on, and YouTube, ring that bell, all that fun stuff. 5 stars on iTunes, good old positive reviews on all different types of podcast apps. That's what we're looking for, people.
Do it.
We'd love you to
Do it.
So, with that being said, it's time to go into our first topic, which is also going to integrate with the question of the week.
And I have the air horn now. Now you can't hear it, Joe, but I just put it on.
But I don't know if we need to do the air horn. I think we need to have something for the question of the week, some type of intro music or something for it, like a small interlude. But anyways, the question of the week, should video game price points go up? So it looks like from an article that I found from the Business Insider, the standard price of video games may increase to $70 US for PlayStation 5 and next-gen Xbox, and this could end a 15-year run of video games costing $60. So back in 2005, video games started to cost $50, went from $50 to $60, and kind of became the norm, and has been the norm for the last 15 years. And now we could be seeing that norm going away and then moving up to $70.
Well, they also said, just a fun fact, because it is in the article too, Call of Duty 2 was the game that did it. So they actually specifically said that back then. You said 2005, right? So Call of Duty 2 was the one to raise the price from, at the time, $49.99 to $59.99, which that's like an S tier, blockbuster game. So that kind of makes sense. And now we have, was it NBA 2K21 is the supposed, the prospect to be at 70 for the first time.
Yeah, and if that is the case, I think that they're going at it all wrong. I do not agree that it's time to move up to $70. And let me tell you why. Okay?
Uh-oh.
The evolution of video games and profits on video games has changed so dramatically in the last 15 years that a $60 price point needs to stay the way it is. And the reason being is, number one, manufacturing costs. Okay, people are buying a lot more games digitally, which means there is less cost required to manufacture physical discs, physical packaging. Okay, two, DLC, extra content, things that people are buying right now that are all digital based. Okay, you don't have to spend any type of money to make any of this stuff. Post production. Obviously, there's costs in actually creating the content, the DLC, the loot boxes, which we'll talk about loot boxes a little bit later on. Tease, stuff like that, right?
Spoiler alert.
I haven't done a lot of research on actually looking at it and saying when did the extra content really take off in helping video games bridge the gap of making more money and keeping a game afloat longer than just buying it initially, whether it's season passes, downloadable content, expansions to the game, things like that. So by bringing the $70 price point to the next gen, you might be hurting yourself. It's going to work no matter what because people are going to pay the money, but I implore the video game to think about this.
All right. Well, so I guess on the surface, if I'm just going to sit here and say, well, what's going to benefit me the most? I'd say, yeah, keep it at $60. Like, I don't want to spend more money on games. But I actually disagree. I actually do think that it makes sense to go up to $70. And I actually am kind of happy that you mentioned the 2 points that you happy because both of my points are kind of counterpoints directly to those. So the first one was you said manufacturing costs are down, which, yeah, obviously you can just sell a digital game now for a lot cheaper. You can ever, sell a CD version. But their costs are up as far as programming and whatnot is concerned. Nowadays, it costs a lot more money to make the type of game. Like we saw the Unreal Engine 5 demo, and that was absolutely nuts, bonkers. It's like movie grade graphics now. That cost is going up. The development of the technology is much more expensive than it used to be back when people were developing Tony Hawk Pro Skater, right? So now we have higher. I guess programming costs is what you'd call that. Maybe not manufacturing, obviously.
Just like overhead.
Overhead. Yeah, just overhead in general. So there's that. So I do think that us paying the extra $10 is going to contribute to theoretically better games, better technology. And then what was the second point that you made again?
Second point was about the the DLC, the expansions, and really taking off and making those games last longer.
So that's where I kind of agree with you, right? Because I don't think so. I guess if they do increase it to 70, I think they have to be real careful about what they continue to do with DLC. So a perfect example is Mortal Kombat. You were talking about Mortal Kombat before, and you're like, well, some people are probably pissed off because they spent the $60 on it. The original is only $20 now or something like that. I think I just saw the other day. And now the DLC was it $40?
Yeah, so basically you'd be paying the same amount of money for the original game
with
to get
the DLC.
Everything.
Yeah.
Somebody who was a first time, like one of the people who got it right away, you spent $60 or more on the game. If you got the DLC, you probably spent like closer to 90 or 100. Yeah. And then you spend another $40 on the expansion that came out just about a year after the original game. So you basically, if you were a first time, like if you bought it right away, you probably spent close to $140 in 1 year for one game if you were hardcore about it, versus somebody who decided to wait, got it for $60 and got everything that the person who spent 140 got. And I think that's
wrong. Yeah, I think that's wrong. Because like that's just wrong. Because you got to think like 20 years ago, back in 2005 when Call of Duty 2 was a thing, people, even if there was an expansion for like World of Warcraft was big on expansions since their existence, right?
They've always been,
but the game is like not. It's different. It's a different model. It's a different model of selling their game. World of Warcraft can do that. So you can't just start making games like Division and Destiny where everything is just like buying a new video game. Like, because you're not getting it's like you're gypping the consumer at that point. You buy Destiny 2, you get an entire video game that's 60 hours of play. You buy the expansion for another $60. I know they're not typically $60, but just in this example, let's say the expansion costs $40 to $60. You're only getting like what 15 to 20 hours worth of gameplay in the additional expansion. So if you do the math, the hours that you actually get of entertainment value doesn't equal. Like the expansions are overpriced when you look at it that way. So I think if they do switch it to 70, especially for some of the blockbuster games like Call of Duty, stuff like that, I think that's fine because those games are going to get severely just better all around. Graphics, programming, just things that you can do in the game, everything. But the DLC needs to not be so overly priced. The DLC needs to definitely not increase alongside the extra $10. And the other reason why I actually like this overall for the gaming industry, this is good. Because you got to think, if blockbusters are going to go up $10 like Call of Duty or NBA 2K21, that means that indie developers can charge just a wee bit more. Even if it's like $5 more for an indie game, it's still going to look like it's a lot cheaper than some of the blockbuster games out there, which means that's extra money in the indie developers' pockets, which I can also appreciate. And I'm sure indie developers, we've been working, with some of the indie developers in the community, seeing what it is or what it's like to be in that situation. And it's not easy. You need money, you need capital, and I think this would also kind of share it, the wealth will be shared a little bit with the indie developer community. So
something else that I was thinking about that just popped into my head while I was reading this, and you're right, it said something in the article about NBA 2K21 will cost $60 for current gen consoles, but next gen will be $70. Then I realized and said, well, what about all this talk about smart delivery and the upgradable versions? So if you're going to be charging people $70 for new games, but you also have developers that are willing to say, well, if you buy it on Xbox One, when you get the Xbox Series X, you can get it for free upgrade. So now you're saving $10 by buying it on the old system.
So wow, there's a lot to be said about that.
There's a lot of stuff, because I was looking at this and I was saying to myself, my God, why not just buy it on the old system then and go from there? So I think that's your escape right there if you don't want to pay the extra $10, and it's going to come into account with a couple of other things that we're going to go over today, because one of the other games we're going to be speaking about is Madden, and they're supposed to be part of this whole thing too. And it's interesting to think about this now, if they're going to do this smart delivery thing. And granted, not every game's going to have it, but the ones that do, they're willing to sacrifice $10 per game.
The ad that they're talking about with the NBA 2K21, do you know if it showed a PS4 game or an Xbox game?
Well, it just says current generation consoles, and the next generation consoles will cost different. But it said this year's annual NBA 2K game launches, it'll cost the same $60 that it always has for current Xbox One and PlayStation 4 consoles. But the 5 and the X, this holiday season will be yeah, right.
So well, because my first thing was, because Xbox is the only one with smart delivery, and I do think they did PS5 will be backwards compatible.
So, well, there's talks about something about upgrading PlayStation 5 as well, but but just on the smart delivery side, I mean, both the publisher and the company, both companies have to be okay with it. So in a sense, if you buy like Madden 21 and it's for the Xbox One, and then you get the Xbox Series X, you can upgrade it.
I guess is there a world
they're
where
agreeing to that?
Is there a world where maybe Microsoft or Sony actually are on board with this, because now they get to still sell their old consoles? Like this would also push buying games for older consoles if this becomes typical, where it's also available on smart delivery. But I guess the point there is like, okay, you're still pushing your previous generation, but why not just push your new generation? Like it's like why would you forfeit sales on one versus the other? It doesn't.
Well, here's another thing that I have to speak to, and this could just be an introductory thing, right? So the more I think about this, I've never seen this being said, but it could be for games that are coming out before the launch. So games that will be there for the launch, but are before. So, like for example, Madden 21 will come out in August.
It'll be on both,
right? But it's going to be on both. But hold on a second, right? So you're going to get Madden 21 in August. You're going to pre-order it or buy it. It's going to be $60 for your Xbox. And then in November, when the Xbox Series X comes out, still speculation, but I believe it's November, you will be able to upgrade your version to a Series X game.
I wonder if they would charge the $10. I wonder if they
don't.
No. Well, they haven't said anything yet about that, but they could very well curve towards the end.
Well, no, because they've already said that it's going to be an upgrade. You're going to be able to upgrade it once you own it.
Did they say for free?
They didn't say that they were going to charge you.
But did they say
no,
for free?
Dude, that would be BS.
that would be bullshit. I think that would be bullshit. But that's a possibility now with stuff like this happening.
Well, no, but they need to know that stuff, right? They need to be able to, because you can't just throw the curveball. Oh yeah, we're gonna do this, and then all of a sudden do the smart delivery thing, and it wouldn't be for free. And I'm gonna look that up real quick because I want to see if there has been any type of like specific verbiage that stated that
it's definitely free. Yeah. Free. So, well, here's another interesting thing too, right? And I was actually thinking this earlier when I was looking up some of the newly released games over the next week, which we'll obviously go over towards the end of the cast as always. But so I don't know if you noticed, but does it? And maybe I'm just imagining this, but do a lot of Nintendo Switch games typically cost $49.99? It looks like.
No. I think granted, I've only bought that triple.
But Sans, yeah, I was just gonna say Sans like Zelda or Donkey Kong or Mario, like just anything beyond the blockbuster hits. I see, like when I looked them up, and we'll go over these later. There's a ton of Switch games coming out next week, and almost all of them are $49.99. And one of them is actually Sword Art Online, so I'll just spoiler that one. But in that one, I think was $49.99. So I don't know. It's just it's weird. My thought now is that if NBA 2K21 is saying, okay, we're going to be $70, maybe it's actually not a standard anymore. Maybe it's not everybody going to $70. Maybe it's they want to be 70. Madden still wants to be 60. Call of Duty wants to be 70. This other game wants to be 50. I mean, because now with so many indie developers, game prices are always all over the place. You got $5 games, $10, $20, $30. So maybe that's just what we're moving towards now.
Yeah, and so it says like you get Xbox Series X games, for example, Cyberpunk 2077 launches on September 17th. You'll be able to explore Night City on Xbox One. If you pick up a Series X at launch this holiday, you can play it there too in compatibility mode, picking up exactly where you left off. Then, when CD Projekt Red delivers an Xbox Series X optimized version, you'll automatically get upgraded once it's available at no additional cost.
Okay. So they did say no additional cost. Okay. Well, now, I guess my question now is, did they make that statement individual to certain games? Or did they make a blanket statement about smart delivery that was all games that work with smart delivery will offer the upgrade at no additional cost? Like that would be a statement I'm looking for.
Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't really say that, but I would have to think that that's implied because not every game's going to have it.
I agree.
Not every game's going to have it.
And that would be a really backhanded move for them to do that.
I know I can see it right here, right now. Madden 21 isn't on this list, but this is an older list, it looks like. So just like, well, actually, it's June 15th, so it's actually not that old. It's about 20 days old. But
well, speaking of Madden, because we've had a lot of sports talk right now, so you actually found a pretty cool article on fixing quote unquote Madden, which I personally have not played a lot of Madden recently. I played a lot from probably 2001 because I was like a super football head back then. 2001 until probably about 2010 is when I was like hardcore into Madden.
It's crazy that you say that because that's about my lineage right now too. Yeah. I think like 2012 might have been like, I can't even remember, but I stopped playing it a long time ago.
Well, you know what's interesting too, and I didn't realize this until I read this article, and I'm trying to find the exact statement here. So apparently back then they actually had, because they talk. So let me preface this first. So this article is basically saying, all right, how do we fix Madden? what is it missing? What can we do to make it better? One of the things they mentioned is making it more RPG, right? Like a sports RPG, which is essentially building a franchise, buying a stadium, following players through their career, seeing them go from college, upgrading their stats, going to training camp, becoming the Marshall Faulk of 2001 and just, wrecking and stuff like that. But apparently, and I thought, because I haven't really played too many Maddens or read reviews or anything, because in my mind, Madden's just the same freaking game every year. And just like Call of Duty and NBA 2K, like to me, it's just the same thing released over and over again, just different people's names. They said that back in the early 2000s, they actually did have franchise mode, which I know because that's when I played it. And then they got rid of it. And now that I think about it, I think towards the late 2000s when I was still playing, they did get rid of like certain aspects of the franchise mode that kind of delved a little bit deeper into that, RPG like game. And I don't know if subconsciously maybe that led to me not wanting to play anymore. But now that I think about it, that might actually be why, because honestly, that's what I would love to buy Madden for. Like, if you buy Madden, yeah, sure, you'll play one season, but like nobody actually cares about just playing a season and just like they care about upgrading people and importing their NCAA people to, so they have the same people from the NCAA game and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think they nailed it. I think they just need to make it more like an RPG game for, sports teams, and they're golden.
Yeah, exactly. And I was taking a look, and it says Madden 21 won't utilize smart delivery. It plans to extend the offer all the way through our Madden 21 season up to the release of 22. That means players can claim their free upgrade through the main lifespan of Madden 21. So
there will be an optimized version. They just won't sell it on disc.
It looks like it looks like you're just going to be able to upgrade it digitally.
Gotcha.
But you only can do it for a small amount of time. Like, so, for example, with the smart delivery for Xbox, apparently if you own it, you can get it whenever you get an Xbox Series X. But with EA, if you bought an Xbox
we
One,
all love EA, so let's hear it.
if you bought an Xbox with Madden 21, and then you didn't get the Xbox Series X until say September or August of, you won't have the chance to upgrade 21, and you'll have to buy 22, and you'll have to buy it.
Oh, Jesus.
So they basically just give you a time. So for people who are right there and get the system right away, if you didn't wait 2 months and bought it on Xbox One, when you get the Series X, you can upgrade.
Okay.
But if you wait on buying the Series X, you might miss the opportunity to upgrade your Madden 21.
And can I just... So I found this paragraph that I was just referring to. Somebody, please, if you watch the YouTube video or if you're just listening to the podcast, please go find the YouTube video and comment, because I want to know. For anybody who's listening who might play Madden a lot still, according to this article, the stuff that they had back in the early 2000s that they removed was in-depth scouting, coaching carousel, training camp, improved CPU trade and signing logic, which, I mean, I don't think that they didn't include that. I think they just want better logic, which makes sense. It's just like card games. People, they want better logic all the time. Rookie mini camp and create a team. So all of that's, it blows my mind that training camp was removed, because I remember playing training camp and I like training camp. I like the idea of having like a guy imported from NCAA, being a rookie, going to training camp, upgrading his stats, and now all of a sudden you have a better QB than Tom Brady because he's your own player, he's on your own team, and then they create a team. They got rid of the created the team. Like, I love the San Francisco Sharks, man. Let's get it. Like, let's just make a team and build a franchise. Like, maybe a stadium builder. Maybe you're able to build a stadium. Like, that would be cool. And
yeah, they had stuff like that back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And
come on, Madden, get your shit together. Come
on.
And
it looks like they're trying to listen to it, but from the article from Forbes, basically states that this could be a little bit of lip service. One of the lead developers did put out something on social media and said that they hear people, but it's July, okay? they usually release Madden the second week of August, okay?
Mhm.
Which means that they are about a month away from releasing this game. There's no way that they're going to make any major
Yeah.
fixes or changes to the setup within that time frame. It's going to
Yep.
be crazy to even be able to conceive that. Although in the article it does state that they do believe that with very little need or cost, they could actually do the things people
They just
want
need the okay. Yeah.
if they let the developers just do the work. But
Sounds like a big
you
corporate
know,
company to me.
exactly. And
Like,
I got to tell you, I heard some cool rumors about what Madden 21 could look like on next gen, and one
oh
of the
yeah.
biggest. Well, listen to this. So you know that they have like that next gen stat stuff on the NFL, like for example, who ran the fastest, who has the fastest run, because they have like
Yeah.
chips in their helmets now and chips in
Yep.
their shoulder pads and stuff. Well, apparently there's some things in the works for Madden 21 where they're
To
going to sync
sync
up
up
with
with
next
Madden
gen
or with
stat,
NFL. Wow. Holy crap.
and that way they can on the fly change people's statistics based off of their performance through
That
the next
would
gen
be
stat
amazing.
situation, but only
Yeah.
on the next gen because it's going to have the processing power
Hmm.
on the next gen consoles to be able to do something like that, and that would be
That would be
kind of
cool.
extraordinary.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm interested to see if Madden listens to the people. And in the article they said that they could do like a patch or something that adds these things to for free. So if they were to release the game in August without this and stated, listen, we listened to you guys in July, we couldn't make any changes due to the fact that the game was already going gold,
Hmm.
so what we've decided to do is we're going to patch the game in November with the launch of the systems, and you will get everything you asked for or part of it. If they do something like that, they've put themselves in a position to bring EA back to some kind of positivity, because to be
Wow.
honest with you, EA's been the big bad wolf for a very long time, and if they can say, hey, listen, we listened to the people this time, it could turn some people's heads and say maybe EA is getting back on track.
Well, with that, I think we can very, very unfortunately segue into some bad news of big companies. So I know, yeah, I know that EA obviously has had not the greatest history as of late. And honestly, it's not just EA, it's a lot of the esports industry right now, which feels really, really bad. And so we're going to go into this deep, dark hole of despair for a second. And by deep, dark hole of despair, I mean sexual misconduct. If you haven't already heard it enough on probably every platform you are on, period. YouTube, Twitch, the radio, television, some random Fox News website that you're on, like whatever your news outlet is, you probably hear about sexual misconduct every freaking day. And now the one and only Evo is affected by sexual misconduct. And Evo, I'm referring to, if you don't know, it's the Evolution Tournament 2020. It is a fighting tournament that's been around since the beginning of video games. I want to say the early 90s, maybe.
I was gonna say Jesus wasn't around.
Yeah, Jesus was around for a while.
But yeah, so in going into that, they do all different types of fighting games,
Yeah.
like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, stuff like that. So, but yeah, this is really your arena. So keep going. Sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt.
no, it's good. Yeah, this is really disappointing, and I actually told Joe this earlier. So there's another YouTube channel that I was watching that actually had something regarding not necessarily Evo, but a sexual harassment case between, get this, a 14-year-old boy and a 24-year-old girl. The girl was Cinnamon Senpai. I actually forget her name. It's mentioned in this article too. Cinnamon Senpai Dunson. Against one of the players at the time. He was 14 years old, and it was actually the girl sexually harassing the boy. For that doesn't happen often, as I'm sure most people know. So interesting to hear that happen. In the case of Evo, and I saw that on YouTube. In the case of Evo, the CEO, Joey Cuellar, or Cuellar, I don't know. That's a hard one. Cuellar, maybe, was being placed on administrative leave following several accusations of sexual misconduct. And essentially the article, goes on to state that he did some things with some little boys that he shouldn't have done a little while ago back in his 20s, which is probably like when Evo was founded, I imagine. It doesn't state how old he is, but I imagine he's probably in his 40s or so now, or late 30s at least. And just feels bad. I mean, he essentially admitted to it too, because they quoted him in here saying that, he just felt bad that he made bad decisions when he was younger. He's learned from it, yada, yada, yada. And that's all well and good. But goddamn, you couldn't have chosen a worse time to have that stuff come out right now, because there's so much stuff going on online about sexual harassment, sexual misconduct. Shout out to, and I just want to, I feel like I'm on a soapbox, Joe, so I apologize if I come off like that right now. But I've been watching a lot of YouTube on this stuff lately, and I do want to throw this out there. Shout out to any female in the esports industry right now, especially female streamers. And I say that because I feel like a lot of people think that female streamers and females in this industry have it better because of their looks, because of, wearing a low-cut shirt on streams, et cetera, et cetera. That is 100% not the case. I actually saw a study that somebody actually did online. It was an algorithm that looked at the words in the chat of females versus males on Twitch. And Joe, do you want to guess what some of the top words were in female streamers' chats from people watching the stream?
Toxic. No, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're close. Tits, boobs, pussy, cat. Cat randomly.
Well, because of the first word you just said.
Yeah, basically,
which
yeah.
now just put us into the NSFW stream.
Yeah, yeah, right. And just and a ton of other stuff like that. Hot, sexy. Whereas the guys, the top words were just like awesome, sick. Just like basically good job, or like you made a really cool
# feels
play.
bad, man.
Yeah, feels bad, man. Or like senpai, or sorry, senpai was in the girls one. Or oh Jesus, what's the word everybody always says? I don't know why I can't think of it right now in chat.
I don't know. I don't have enough chatters.
I don't know. It's a lot of meme. It's a lot of meme stuff. Yeah, right. So yeah, you and me both, man. You and me both. So I don't know. Just so shout out to all the females out there right now, because it is hard. A lot of them constantly get berated with comments like that every single day. It's not as common for a male. I mean, a lot of people troll male streamers too, so it's not like that doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. But so if you're ever watching somebody online or just in life, be nice. You can give some criticism here and there. Criticism is always good, constructive criticism. But just I feel bad for some of the people out there having to go through this right now. Even the CEO, I even feel a little bit bad for that he has to go through this. But obviously, he's the one that screwed up in the first place. He shouldn't have done it. So just a lot going on right now. So my heart's out to anybody who's actually dealing with this stuff right now. And hopefully something ends or something gives soon, and this all just comes to pass, and we're back on the right track.
Treat people the way you want to be treated. That's the golden rule.
Yeah, dude, you couldn't have said it better. You really could not have said it better. So, I don't know. I thought that the research was really interesting, because that was super, super eye-opening to even know that those words are used more often in those chats, because that they're not used for good reasons. Right. Yeah, like they're not. Even though some people might be saying it, quote unquote, for a good reason, like, oh yeah, you have really nice whatever, but they're not. They're not. They're doing it to troll and just screw around in chat. So yeah, Evo is now canceled because of this. Long story short, Evo is now canceled.
Not the coronavirus.
Yeah, not because of the coronavirus. Go figure, right? So it feels kind of bad. They do have a new interim CEO, which is do you remember the guy's name? I'm trying to.
I do not know.
Give me a second while I look here. It's been announced that Tony Cannon is taking over as CEO, and that
much easier name.
Yeah, much easier too. To pronounce. He's prioritizing greater accountability across Evo, both internally and at our events. If there's a buzzword for the entire freaking world over the last 5 years, it's probably accountability. In any aspect of life, for that matter. And also, interestingly enough, Sonic Fox 1312 tweeted, who's a pretty prominent player in the fighting, for Mortal Kombat. FGC, wake up and really hear these voices. We have to protect our community at all costs. Keep speaking up. So just to echo kind of what I just said about, just be nice. Everybody just be nice. All right? God.
Be nice.
Is it that freaking hard?
To people.
So what's next on the docket, Joe?
Well, you found an article on the Business Insider about loot boxes, as we were
Oh,
talking about earlier, about how video game companies are learning different types of ways to make revenue than just selling a $69 game at this point.
hmm.
If the next gen prices are true, you're going to be paying $70 for games. Well, when they were struggling with the $60 games, apparently they
They did loot
decided that,
boxes.
let me make loot boxes and we can make money off of this stuff. And well, it looks like, based on the article you found, it looks like it might be classified as gambling now.
Well, let me ask you this first. Have you ever bought a loot box, Joe?
Yeah, absolutely.
How many, if you had to guess?
Oh, not that many. Probably like 5 or 10, if that.
Across how many games?
Oh, couple.
Like
Not
maybe two
to be honest
games,
with
three
you,
games.
maybe 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
Really not a lot, just because of the fact that, at some point you just don't want to do that.
So,
You get in your head and you're like, ugh, just
yeah,
shouldn't be doing
what am I doing with my life? I'm freaking now. I will say there's probably plenty of people who, went to a casino, bought, what did you say? Like maybe 9 or 10, so $9 or $10,000 worth of poker chips, and then lost them all, and then they think, what am I doing with my life? So I can see the resemblance. Me personally, I haven't bought. I barely spend money on free to play games unless it's a card game, which because you kind of have to get the cards.
Thank God,
Yeah,
Legends of
it feels-
Runeterra doesn't
yeah.
charge you for it.
Yeah, Legends of Runeterra is more free than ever. So I think I've spent like $60 on that game, and I have every card times 3 and then some. So, but anyways, I've never bought loot boxes, not in Rocket League, not in League of Legends, when there's tons of skins and shit you can buy. You can buy so much stuff. And I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just not, I don't have an addictive personality, which is probably a lie because I play way too many video games. So, but knowing that you've bought some and you've clearly not gone off a cliff and bought like $1 million worth and sold your house and home just to, so you're not living on the street from what I know, right? So, knowing what you know and your previous transactions with that, do you think buying loot boxes could be considered gambling, or do you personally think it's gambling?
Depends on the situation, and I'll tell you why. So, if a loot box is a pay to win situation, then it could be considered gambling in a sense, really, right? Because you are trying to get something to gain advantage over people.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that advantage could possibly be used to win money if there are tournaments and they allow people to use their equipment that they get in the loot boxes as something to help them gain an advantage. But to be honest with you, outside of that, it's tough to say that it's gambling, because when you're buying a loot box, in most cases, you're buying it and you'll get skins or things that you like you said, but you're getting something in return for what you're purchasing. Because to be honest with you, do you know when you go to like Target or something and you find those like boxes for $5 and they have the little guy character and it's like, here are the 25 characters from Marvel that you can get in this box, but you don't know which one you're going to get. But you spend the $5 because you want to get it, and then you could spend another $5 and you get the same one. So you're gambling, right? Because you're taking a chance that 1 in 25 will be this one character. So, you know what I mean? So then are we saying that all of these like silly little random toys that you can get that you buy at like Target and Walmart and stuff and at GameStop is gambling? Because I mean, technically it is, right? Because it's a game of chance. You have the opportunity to get Spider-Man in that box, but you might get Daredevil, you might get the Punisher, you might get Deadpool. It's gambling in that sense of the word, but you're not gambling to gain financially.
So here's online definition of gamble. There's 2. Well, actually, let me see if there's more. There's 2. Origin, by the way, English. just throw that out there. So us idiot Americans came up with this. Play games of chance for money and or bet. Okay. She was fond of gambling on cards and horses, as an example. Also, underneath that same definition says bet a sum of money in parentheses on a game of chance. He was gambling every penny he had on the spin of a wheel. Okay. The second overall definition is take risky action in the hope of a desired result. So I don't know about you, but those are probably two of the most vague definitions when it comes to trying to translate that into like a legal sense.
Number two falls under the category of that though, right? Because
yeah,
if my desire is to get Spider-Man in that toy box.
So,
but I might not get him.
But here's where that stupidity comes in. I go to Walmart. I want to buy, let's see here. Oh no, screw that. Let's say I go somewhere to buy a computer. My desired result of buying the computer is to make money as a streamer. So am I gambling on the purchase of the computer just because I'm spending X amount of money with a desired result and I may or may not achieve that desired result? Like that's where I think the stupidity comes in, because everything in life is technically a gamble. Nothing's guaranteed. And my biggest example is card games. So you're going to sit here and tell me loot boxes are a gamble. What the fuck do you think people do when they buy a Hearthstone pack? You don't think every Hearthstone pack they open, they want a freaking legendary card?
Of course they do.
Like, of course they do. So you're gambling every time you open a pack of cards. But card games literally have to be based around getting packs. There's no other way to make a card game. And screw online card games. Let's go Magic the Gathering. You go into a card shop and you buy, or Walmart, like you just said, you buy a regular pack of Pokemon cards. Like, that's gambling. Even baseball cards. Like, so how are you going to sit there and say that getting a loot box in a game, getting a loot box in a game is probably less of a gamble than a card game? Because the loot box isn't inherently worth money, and you know that going into it. It's a skin, or it's something. It's usually not a pay to win. Loot boxes inherently are usually not pay to win. They're for glamour and stuff to put on your character.
Which is probably how they've avoided the whole gambling situation in the first place.
So now my question is, like, how is everybody focusing on loot boxes as gambling? Because apparently the reason why we're talking about this in the first place, this Business Insider article says in the UK, the House of Lords this week recommended the legal reclassification of loot boxes in video games as gambling. So they clearly think that it's gambling. How are they focusing on this and not a game like Hearthstone or Legends of Runeterra or any card game that requires you to buy packs to get cards, those cards of which you do need in order to achieve the desired result of performing well in the game? So it's just like you're looking in the wrong spot, guys. Like, that is, loot boxes are not it. Now, granted, I don't want people to start looking at card games and saying it's gambling, but you know, people, the stock market.
I mean, it could go to that point though, because loot boxes are one of the biggest things in some of the Blizzard games, and with that being said, obviously Hearthstone is a Blizzard game, so that could definitely fall where they see that,
And apparently, just because I do agree with whoever said this, they don't say who said it, but one of the experts that are analyzing this case right now specifically said and told Business Insider that it could be apocalyptically stupid to regulate loot boxes like gambling without doing more research. I don't think I've ever seen the phrase apocalyptically stupid in reference to something. So, but I gotta agree with the guy, man, because that's just, oh my God. I don't know. I don't even think it has to do with research. They're trying to see if like the loot boxes lead to people becoming addicted to gambling.
Maybe.
Screw the research.
They really want to get that skin, and if they don't get it on the first box, I got to get another box, and another box, and another box. So I think that's it. Well, you know what? SJW, we've been talking about a lot of negative things. Last couple of articles have been pretty negative. So let's get into something positive. As always, at this time of the podcast, it's time for your favorite segment, Ruffhouse Deals.
Oh, yeah. What do we got on the chopping block this week?
Oh, my gosh. We got some more free games from the Epic Game Store. They love giving stuff away. So from July 9th to July 16th, you will be able to pick up these titles on the Epic Game Store. So I'll tell you what, this first game has intrigued me for quite some time. It's actually been on my Steam wishlist, and I've never pulled the trigger on buying it. And, well, I don't have to pull the trigger anymore because I can download it in the Epic Game Store coming July 9th, and that is Killing Floor 2. I also recommend you get it. Maybe we could try it out and dual stream it on a Friday night or something. Players descended to a continental Europe after it has been overrun by horrific murderous clones called Zeds that were created by rogue elements of the Horizon Corporation. It can be up to 6-player co-op and 12-player versus a Zed slaughtering mayhem. So it's basically a first-person shooter where you kill a lot of monsters and zombies, and you team up with people to do so. It looks fun.
Did you play the first Killing Floor?
I didn't.
Because now that I think about it, I think I might have actually played Killing Floor. It sounds familiar. But then again, anything that's just slaughtering a bunch of zombies, I feel like is going to sound familiar to me. So
exactly. So that looks fun. It's free coming July 9th. And it will be available until the 16th. So we got a few days before it comes out, guys. But prepare yourselves. The next game will also fall within that time frame. Lifeless Planet Premiere Edition. While seeking life on distant planets, an astronaut discovers an abandoned Russian town. He suspects his mission is a hoax until a mysterious young woman saves him from a strange and deadly phenomenon. So there you go. Lifeless Planet, also free. And then finally, another freebie, The Escapist 2. Risk it all to break out from the toughest prisons in the world. Explore the biggest prisons yet. You'll have to live by the prison rules, attending roll call, doing prison jobs, and following strict routines, all while engineering your bid for freedom. All 3 of these games will be available on the Epic Game Store for free starting July 9th, and you have a week to get it, ending on July 16th. So everyone, get some more free games, play some games for free, thanks to the Epic Game Store.
You gotta send me a text or something on the 9th. Remind me, because I'm gonna forget. Oh wait, actually, does Epic pop up and tell you?
It does sometimes. It doesn't always, but yes, it will.
It does. So, like when it's not broken, it does. Man, I gotta say, they're really pushing the whole maybe they're trying to sell me on having a second launcher on my desktop, because if you're gonna keep giving away free games, I'll do whatever you want. So I will sell my body for free games, guys. Do what I gotta do. All right.
So, one more thing that I need to tell you guys. One thing we announced last week ended up changing. So, the Epic Game Store decided that Conan Exiles would not be free. So, unfortunately, last week, Conan Exiles was supposed to be free, but they pulled it.
What happened?
I'm looking here to see what exactly happened, but I don't see anything. But Hue is still available, but it says that they pulled it. Up until Epic announced the change, Funcom was still teasing it, so it's was very last minute. Conan Exiles has been on Steam for years, so there shouldn't be many surprises, but for whatever reason, neither Epic nor Funcom have offered an explanation.
That's weird.
So sorry, guys. I did have Conan Exiles on the docket last week, but it looks like that Epic did pull it from being free, so we apologize. But Hue is still available.
Freaking Indian givers. Freaking Indian givers.
Bad based, right?
Now, so I do, before I get into some of the game releases, I did want to bring up one other thing, because we were talking about the Evo ban or not ban. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess ban of their CEO, or suspension, whatever word you want to use. Yeah, and the cancellation of Evo. And I mentioned a lot about the female streamers and stuff like that. So I did want to throw this out there as well. Mm-hmm. I don't know have you ever seen Alinity stream on Twitch? Have you heard of her?
I honestly have not.
No. So Alinity is another prominent female streamer. She's up there with like Pokimane and stuff like that. I'm sure you've heard of Pokimane before. And she at one point on stream had her cat ran across her keyboard, right, while she was playing a game. And, she's in the middle of a game. She's probably in the heat of the moment. She picks her cat up and kind of just like tosses it over her shoulder. And it's a cat. It lands on its feet. It's probably fine, right? Now, and on top of that, let me add that you already know where this is going. You already know where this is going, right? I hope you do. That face you're giving me, you know where this is going. So that was first strike. The second strike was, this is a little bit worse, I guess, but again, not the worst thing in the world, in my opinion. She has a cat, again. She's drinking a couple shots of vodka on stream. So she, takes a swig. She holds it in her mouth. The cat comes up to like give her a kiss, and she kisses her with the vodka in the mouth and actually puts a little bit on the cat's nose. And you see the cat kind of like shake its head and I don't like that. And I guess her chat was saying like, that's not vodka, that's water. So she's like, see, that proves it. See the cat shaking its head like that. So you want to guess where this went? I'm going to give you a shot where what people said after both those things happened.
Well, no, I was gonna say that. When did PETA get involved?
Oh yeah. All right, so you nailed it. You nailed it. I don't think PETA got involved. I might be wrong about that. I'd have to go check some stuff. I doubt it. But God, if she hasn't stopped getting shit for that, it's ridiculous. Like every stream she has, apparently, people come on and troll her about her abusing animals. Like, all right, listen, she owns cats. I'm sure she loves her cats. I'm sure anybody who has a cat run across their keyboard is going to, try to push them to the side in the middle of a game. So anyways, long story short, she has a lot of trolls. So one day on Twitter, I guess her and some beef or some drama in the esports world, Ninja comments on her tweet and says, and they're like arguing back and forth. And for him to get the last word, he goes, "Don't you have some cat to abuse somewhere?" So he lit her up, right? Now, this gets better, and this is why I mentioned this, because we were talking about being nice. Clearly, Ninja was not nice there, right? Now, it was all in good fun, probably. They're just shitting on each other, going back and forth, trying to get the better word. But, lo and behold, Alinity goes on stream one day, and she is in tears. She breaks down to all of her community. She's like, guys, I get trolled every day. Like, when is this going to stop? What's going to happen? And she's like, do I just stop streaming so that people just stop giving me shit for what's happened in the past? And, you have people telling her to just ignore the trolls, do your own thing. We're all human. You make mistakes. And she's like, yeah, but it doesn't stop. Like, so what am I I can only ignore so much. So after that goes viral, her crying, Ninja decides to apologize in a tweet and on whatever. So Ninja apologized. So just, again, to really reiterate and drive home that point, everybody who's listening, be nice. And if you go ahead and make somebody cry on stream because of her cats, you got to apologize. that's the lesson learned today. But that just goes, like, just so much of that stuff is happening right now, and it's really sad to see. So I really hope that we can kind of move in the right direction moving forward with esports, video games, and just the video game industry and community as a whole,
And cats as well.
And cats, cats are people too. Cats are a very awesome animal, okay? So we need to be nice to our cats. I actually got a cat recently.
I question that. So.
Cats are
I'm
weird.
a dog person. I'm a dog person more than a cat person. So.
I'm probably equal, like even both. I know a lot more people I think are dog people, but
yeah,
I just got a cat recently and named her Tifa. I don't know if I ever told you that or not yet.
No, I didn't, but I have a cat, and my cat's name is Meow because my 4-year-old named the cat. So there you go.
Well, at least she just
and listen, if any of you guys have any tips with cats, she will not stop pooping on the floor near her litter box. She only goes. I have 3 litter boxes with specialty litter. I want to talk about living the good life. And she still decides to go on the floor for some reason.
She's doing it to spite you. Like,
for some reason, I don't know what it is.
I'm literally picturing like this evil
quality
cat.
Food.
I'm picturing this evil cat in like a cartoon going next to the box, looking at you, and purposely like shitting on the ground outside of it.
Like I wish. It's in my basement, so it's not bad. I mean, it's bad that it's happening, but it's in my basement. But you're just like thinking that the cat's just staring at me as it's happening, and it's just like ready to take its dump, and it's just looking to make sure that it knows that I'm watching her do it that way. Like, because I want you to know, F you. F you.
And
whatever.
Also,
but anyway,
quick update.
I digress.
Because I mentioned Ninja. Both Ninja and Shroud have still not made a statement on where they're going, and Dr. Disrespect, nobody knows.
Has no idea. Twitch still hasn't released anything, and Dr. Disrespect has said they still haven't told me why I'm banned.
The esports world and the streaming world is in turmoil right now. Okay, everybody. So
we're just all trying to get our stuff together and figure it out. So
right.
Watch us stream instead of people who.
Yeah,
you know.
duh. We really got to start streaming this live. I think we got to do that.
Well, yeah, we got to start streaming this live, and then we also have to start streaming again together games and stuff like that.
I think
we got to get back to our.
We have the technology.
We had some successful. We've had some successful streams together.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Back in the day when we weren't doing it right.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, 6 months ago.
All right. So, anyways, new releases. What do we got? All right. We have a lot of Switch stuff this week, and I have personally been buying more Switch games, which I've been very happy with right now. I'm currently playing
have not.
Trials of Mana. So, you have not been happy with Switch?
No, I have not been buying.
Oh, okay. You've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing still, or?
Yeah, we basically I've just been playing the stock market.
So good old stock market. All right, Catherine Full Body. Just to give you an idea, first off, it asked for my birthday when I went to see the info on this game, and this is on the Nintendo website, mind you. So just dark, intense, intoxicating. Our indecisive protagonist, Vincent, has been with his longtime girlfriend, Catherine, for 5 years. But instead of taking the next step into marriage, Vincent finds himself in an affair with the provocative blonde bombshell, Catherine, with a C. With a C, okay? So one's with a K. First one was a K. Second one's a C. Just very specific. Thrown into discord by his own infidelity, he finds solace in the innocent Rin, further complicating matters. So this guy's basically, he's a player. Right? He's got 3 chicks. Adding to Vincent's dilemma, he begins having nightmares that force him to climb for his life. Will he survive the trials and tribulations of love or fall to temptation? So it's kind of like a choice game where you make choices to, figure out this guy's relationship problems. Seems like there's some interesting scenes in the game, hence Catherine Full Body. Lots of stuff going on there. It looks like it's going to be $49.99 coming out for the Switch on July 7th of 2020. And that's what I mean. See that one? Brand new game, $49.99. So I think Switch is trying to separate itself.
Not brand new, though. This game's been out on the other platforms.
Yes. But it's first full release on Switch. So maybe that's it. Actually, you might be honest on there. Like if it's a brand new game, never released anywhere, it's always going to be $59.99. But if it's been released on PC first and then on, so that might be it too. Superliminal. Superliminal is going to be coming out for PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on July 7th. As you fall asleep with the TV on at 3 a.m., you remember catching a glimpse of the commercial from Dr. Pierce's Somnosculpt Dream Therapy Program. By the time you open your eyes, you're already dreaming. Beginning the first stages of this experimental program, welcome to Superliminal. Superliminal is a first-person puzzle game based on forced perspective and optical illusions. Puzzles in this game give you a sense of the unexpected. Players need to change their perspective and think outside the box to wake up from the dream. So it's a puzzle game, and it actually looks to be pretty interesting. It actually gives me a vibe. There's like a hallway with a red carpet. What's that really weird movie with the kid on the tricycle? Yeah, The Shining. Yeah, there we go. I just saw it on DVD the other day too. Like it was being sold somewhere. It gives me a Shining vibe. It looks like somebody saw The Shining, made a video game, and then tried releasing it. So it's $19.99. It's a little bit cheaper. And next up we have Crosscode for PS4 and Switch on July 9th. This actually looks very cool. It reminds me of The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, like back on SNES. Crosscode is a retro-inspired 2D action RPG and combines 16-bit SNES style graphics with butter smooth physics. God, they paid somebody a lot to write this one. A fast-paced combat system and outstanding puzzle mechanics serve with a gripping sci-fi story. Enjoy an immersive world with diversified settings. Get rewarded with all types of equipment to evolve your character and individualize their skills. During the engaging battles, you will use the tools you find on your journey to reveal and exploit enemies' weaknesses and destroy them. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It literally looks like Zelda. It looks like SNES. Gives you that old retro vibe, and it is an RPG. So that looks like... I don't see a price here. But again, that is going to be out for PS4 and Switch on July 9th. We have Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon 2, PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, all on July 10th. Blood of the Moon, a retro-inspired 2D action RPG. So another 2D action RPG. I feel like people that like RPGs really like that style of RPG. Like, I feel like that was when RPG was in, like, the sweet spot. You know, Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger, you know. Set in the distant future. Crosscode combines 16... Oh, wait, no. Is this the same? Oops.
Nope.
Wrong
You look
one.
at Bloodstained.
I was looking at... Yeah, sorry, Bloodstained. Bloodstained is not a 16-bit SNES RPG. So, Koji Igarashi and the Inti creatures are back with more retro sword and whip action. Curse of the Moon 2 brings classic 2D action, so another 2D game, though, and a dark 8-bit... This is 8-bit aesthetic together with modern playability. So, again, that's July 10th. I don't see a price on Steam, but it does...
$14.99 on Nintendo's website.
Wait, Bloodstained? Yes, yeah, $14.99 for Nintendo.
Yep.
Then we got next up is Deadly Premonition 2, A Blessing in Disguise, another Switch-only game on July 10th. That's actually going to be $49.99. So again, I don't know. Do you know if that one came out prior to this? Deadly Premonition 2 from what you've seen?
No, it doesn't look like it was on anything else. At least for what I can see, it all looks like it's
Nintendo only.
Yep.
Yeah. So all right, well there goes that theory. But I think there's still some merit to what you said too. So, but anyways, Deadly Premonition 2: A Blessing in Disguise, the true sequel to Deadly Premonition. In the year 2005, FBI agent York visits Le Carré, a small town in New Orleans, where he encounters a mysterious serial murder case alongside his friend, quote-unquote, Zach. It's produced by the original creator team. So this looks like it's a pretty good game as well. I have not played the original Deadly Premonition, so...
Me neither.
I have not actually heard of it up until then. F1 2020. So obviously this is a racing game. This is going to come out on July 10th for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and guys, if you were worried, again, Stadia will have F1 2020. Thank God. You know, I wonder if there's really anybody out there who's like searching on Google for like, hey, when's this game coming to Stadia? Like, is anybody actually searching that shit? Like, if you are, comment below in the YouTube video.
Google, can you tell us, please?
Yeah, Google, does anybody care about Stadia? So F1 2020 is available for pre-purchase. This one will be $59.99, and the deluxe edition is $69.99. And I will say, I think they've been grooming all of us subconsciously for the $70 video game because deluxe editions were always $70. So I don't think it'll be that hard for people to get on board with that. I don't know.
The deluxe edition gave you extra stuff.
I know. I'm just saying. It's like I don't think 70 will be.
That's like saying
unfamiliar.
I bought a collector's edition for a game for $150, but I'm not going to buy a game for $150 if it doesn't have anything special with it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Like I bought the special edition of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Very happy with it, by the way. I love the box.
I know
it's
you
really
are.
Cool. So anyways, yeah, I love that. I'm on chapter 9 now. Slowly but surely. It's taking a little while, but what are you ended up getting it, right?
No, I haven't got it yet.
What is wrong? What is wrong with you?
I just don't have time.
God damn it, Joe. All right. So, next up we have Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town. Also for Switch, only in the EU though. I think it comes out in NA a little bit later. That's going to be on July 10th. Experience the joys of life on the farm in this reimagining of a timeless Story of Seasons classic. Your farming life begins in Mineral Town, a charming village surrounded by nature. You've returned after many years to restore your late grandfather's farm to its former glory. Care for crops, livestock, and more as your very own Story of Seasons unfolds. I imagine this is like, what's that Facebook game that like started? Farmville, right? Isn't that like the first farm game ever? It's going to be like Farmville, except it's on Nintendo. So there you go. And last but not least, have you seen this anime?
Yes.
I like it. What about you?
Yeah, no, I like it too. Obviously, if you guys haven't been following us, we are also been watching One Piece finally.
Oh, what episode are you on?
Watching that. Oh God, 15, maybe 16.
What, are you watching it on Netflix?
Yes.
Okay, because Netflix I think only goes up to. Oh, actually, wait, no, I think it does have season 2 as well.
Yeah,
so
I do, but I also have Funimation, which I think has everything.
That's what I have, yeah, and it's like freaking 19 seasons or something of it. So
yeah, it's crazy. It's like so I'll watch it like late when I'm
It's so
bored.
good though. It's so good. Anybody listening, watch One Piece. It's freaking amazing. I think I'm on episode like 55 or something. I usually have it.
You're way far. So
Yeah.
I'm in the episodes where they're at the restaurant boat. Like they're
That's the wicked funny part. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a couple episodes into the restaurant.
That's where Sanji's gonna join the squad there. Yeah. You
Spoiler
met Sanji,
alert.
Right? Oh shit, sorry. Hey,
No, but
that gets you back for last time you spoiled something.
I don't know what I spoiled for you,
I
but
forget
no,
what
I
it was.
figured he was because he's on the cover with the other three that are with him already. And you know what else too? Is it me or is the guy who plays the green-haired guy isn't he Piccolo? Doesn't he also voice Piccolo?
Vegeta and Piccolo, yeah. That's Nick Saban, yeah. Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like,
dude.
I heard that voice and I'm like, that
dude,
sounds heck of a lot like Piccolo.
Do you watch My Hero Academia?
Yes.
Do you know Fat Gump?
Yep.
That's Gohan.
Really?
Yep, that's Gohan. All the voices.
You know, I wonder if what's his face is the professor is also now that I think of his voice.
Hawkeye?
No. I know this is going off rails, guys.
Nah, it's fine.
We're sorry here, but no, it's almost seems like there is another person in My Hero Academia who also voices people at Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah,
like that as well.
Well, because like that whole squad,
it's just like a group of people that do it.
Well, yeah, they always get contracted to do specifically English dubs of Japanese anime. So they always reach out to the same group of people. So you're always going to get the same females. They might do slightly different voices, like to try to make it seem a little bit different. But like you can't. Vegeta is Vegeta, like at Piccolo, right? Yeah. It's him. That's why that was the first one that you caught on. Gohan, it took me a little while, but now every time I see Fat Gum, I'm like, that's Gohan. That's But I don't really envision Gohan until he's the not fat version. When he gets skinny and stronger or whatever. So, but anyways, we got onto that. We didn't even tell them what the game was originally. So we were talking about if this anime was good, and what we were originally referring to was Sword Art Online. Alicization Lycoris. I think I pronounced that correct. But anyways, that's a game coming out. If you haven't checked out the anime, definitely check it out. Very good anime. Not nearly as long as One Piece. So you can, or Naruto for that matter. Naruto's really long too. So you can go ahead and check that one out. Probably finish it a little bit faster. But that game is coming out PC, PS4, and Xbox One on July 10th. And yeah, that honestly is probably going to be a pretty good game. So it's an RPG based on the actual anime. So yeah, that is it. That's it for all the games coming out next week, guys.
Guys, thanks for joining us this week. Thanks for getting our anime tirade right there in my cat's story.
We touched on a lot of shit this week. I'm not gonna lie. That was
I hope we've also touched your hearts.
Oh,
always. So, with that being said, guys, we want to thank you once again for joining us this week. Make sure you subscribe, 5-star reviews, all that fun stuff, and we will talk to you next week.
Aloha. Somebody said that on my stream, so I'm using aloha now.
There you go, aloha. It means hello and goodbye.
Exactly. You can't go wrong with it ever.
And with that, see you soon.
Aloha.
Thanks, everybody.